Hello all. A very good morning to all of you. And I'm really happy to be here to have this wonderful session together. Uh, and I'm really happy to see these much of active learners and net aspirants. And it's pretty amazing to find you all here. And I'd like to introduce myself that, as they have said, this is Hariharan, acting as a net trainer, and I have cleared net in my very first attempt with 93 percentile. And today I'm gonna give some suggestions and tips and tricks to crack the net and make you believe that it is not a big thing to deal with. Okay, without any further delay, let's dive into the topic. And before that, let me share the screen. There we go. The first thing, what
Sir,
is
you
net?
can put it in the full screen mode, sir. So
Yeah,
visibility is
sure.
better.
Okay. Okay. What is net? I know that you are aware of what is net. Net is something which is uh, people see it like a big thing or a tough thing to deal with, but actually it is not. It is not that much colossal thing to deal with. It is pretty simple, but people make it like it is a unachievable thing that it cannot be achieved with a in an easy way. But I don't think so, and I make you believe what I think. As you know, that the exam has totally 150 questions, and the paper one deals with 50 questions, and paper two has 100 questions from your respective majors. Okay, I'm talking about this only because of the people who might not aware of these things. I believe. Okay. See, these are the 10 units that we have in English net. See, English net syllabus is actually like an ocean because we cannot measure the ocean, but we have to dive in and do something better. That is how we are preparing for UGC net. And people think that English is something very simple, but it's simple. But when you approach it in a technical way and in a interested way, it will be easy. So these are the 10 units. The 10 units are drama, poetry, fiction, short story, non-fictional prose, language, basic concepts, theories, and pedagogy, English in use, English in India, history, evolution, and futures, yeah. Cultural studies, literary criticism, literary theory, post-World War II, research methods and materials in English. Actually, we have several different literatures among this English net. And I would like to talk about the important topics which cover most of the questions in net. Those are the British literature and literary theory and literary criticism and cultural studies. And these things have pretty much weightage when it comes to UGC NET English because they used to ask lots of questions from these topics. So I suggest you to look after these topics carefully and make sure that you have aware of most of the things from these topics. Okay. And I have some of the questions to deal with your knowledge. We can discuss about it and we can get to know and revise things in a better way. Okay. Which literary work of Chaucer's age exhibits the class divisions of the Middle Age? Of course, you are aware of the answer, but the thing is, why did I put this question here? Because uh, Chaucer is a kind of great figure when it comes to English literature, particularly British literature, because he is the person who have inaugurated very great things in the field of British literature. So, okay, the answer, of course, you know, can anybody put the answer in the comment section? Yeah, very good, exactly. Because the Canterbury Tales is a one which clearly exhibits the class divisions among the British, among the English people, because we can find the class divisions that were being in use during the age of Chaucer. Okay, sorry, I put D as the option. Okay, the Canterbury Tales. The work was written by Geoffrey Chaucer. It was written between 1387 and 1400. It is a collection of 24 stories with around 17,000 lines. These are the things that you should be known of things that other people don't know. That is how we can be different from others. Okay. And yeah, Canterbury Tales have 17,000 lines. Make note of it. And the first tale in the Canterbury Tales was told by the knight. Exactly. And the last tale in the Canterbury Tales was told by the parson. Yeah. There were 30 pilgrims, including Chaucer, but without the host. Can you name the host? Can anybody? I know you all know the answer. Yeah, exactly. It is Harry Bailey. Exactly. Yeah, very good. And we have certain categories uh, about the people and the class we have in Canterbury Tales. And I have mentioned here the high class and clergy, middle class professionals. The high class and clergy has the knight, the squire, the prioress, the monk, the friar, and the middle class professionals like the merchant, the clerk, the surgeon of law, the franklin, the doctor. Okay, let's move to the next one. I didn't give much characters from Canterbury Tales. Okay. Actually, as you all know, Chaucer planned to write 120 stories, but he got only 24. He has planned to ask uh, the pilgrims to say 4 stories and plan to get 4 stories from each of the pilgrims, but actually the plan wasn't gone well. Okay. The pilgrims started their journey from the Talbot's Inn, right? And we have other professionals here, craftsmen and tradespeople, religious figures, and others, lower class peoples. These you must be aware of these pilgrims actually, because we don't need to know much about this, but we have to know certain things actually. And why Chaucer is more prominent than others? Can anybody say it in a single sentence? Okay, I guess we don't have much time. So I'll say that. Uh, Chaucer is a one who preferred English rather than Latin and French. Am I right? Yeah, he preferred English rather than Latin and French, and he has the prominence in being buried in Poets' Corner, Westminster Abbey. He's the first poet to be buried in Westminster Abbey, right? Yes, he has some prominence in the British literature. And we used to call him as the father of English poetry, right? I'm damn sure that you are aware of these things. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, the another tremendous thing that happened in English literature. Yes. What did God bring into existence on the fourth day of his creation in John Milton's Paradise Lost? I know that people are aware of the basic things that when it was published and how many versions are there and how many books are there, kind of. But uh, here we have something peculiar. Yeah, because God has created the world and the universe for 7 days, I guess, for 7 days. And what did he bring into existence in the fourth day? Is it B, Adam and Eve? Okay, let me show you the answer. The sun, moon, and the stars is the answer because, yeah, before getting into it, let's discuss basic things about Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost is an epic poem written by John Milton. Its first version consists of 10 books published in 1667. The second version consists 12 books and it was published in 1674. Right? Am I right? Okay. And we have Paradise Regained, right? Why did he write Paradise Regained? The counterpart of Paradise Lost. Yes, as you can see. Later on the request of his friend Thomas Ellwood, Milton wrote Paradise Regained, and it was published in 1671. Okay, make note of it if you are not aware of it. Okay, okay. What did he create in the 7 days? Yes, the first day it was light. On the second day it was the sky, and on the third day it was dry land, seas, plants, and trees. On the fourth day, as you can see, the sun, moon, and stars. Okay, on the fifth day, creatures that live in the sea and creatures that fly. Okay, on the sixth day, animals that live on the land and humans made in the image of God. That is Adam and Eve. Okay. On the day 7, God rested from his work of creation. That is how we have Sunday here. That is what people believe. I don't think so because it is pretty bad than in the history. So, okay. The name of Satan's palace is Pandemonium, right? Pandemonium is a palace that was created by Satan after when he was thrown out of the heaven. He was a close and favorite angel of God, right? But later he was not the favorite because the God's son has come and took the place of Satan. Okay. The poem tells the story of the biblical fall of man, focusing of the rebellion of Satan and his followers, the expulsion from heaven, and the consequences of their action on humanity. Okay. Uh, the thing starts with the first disobedience of man towards God. And I find this quote pretty good. It has so much attitude in it, right? Better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven. Pretty nice, right? Yes. The above statement was told by Satan. This is one of the famous quote from Paradise Lost said by Satan. And the most notorious fallen angels in close confidence of Satan are Beelzebub, Molch, and Dagon. Yeah, these were the people who were giving ideas and things to do when he was in pandemonium. and making him do things with Adam and Eve, notorious things. Okay. The war between God and the fallen angels had happened for the whole 3 days. Yes. And the war was ended by the God's son because there were one of three were against God. As you can see, they are supporting Satan. So the war was happening for 3 days, and the war was being ended by the gods and the enemy of Satan. Okay, and the famous angels that used to come in Paradise Lost were the Raphael and Michael, I guess. Yeah, these both angels were used to come a lot in Paradise Lost. Okay, and I have one more question to ask. Uh, who's a hero in the Paradise Lost? Who's the protagonist from the Literarian's point of view? Can you answer it in the chat box? Yes, Satan. Exactly. Because Milton described a lot about Satan instead of God. That is how people used to say it is. Satan is a protagonist of Paradise Lost. Okay, let's jump to the next question. Which literary work of modern age has pile of references and allusions in it? Can anyone? I strongly believe that no answer. Yes, chat box is filling with answers. Yes, the answer is C. The greatest thing that ever happened, one of the greatest things that ever happened in English, British literature. That is the wasteland. Yes. Yeah. The wasteland. The wasteland has around 400 references and allusion in it. I believe some of you might be aware of it, and some of you might not. Please make note of it. Yes, there are 400 references and allusions. It is a poem written by Thomas Stearns Eliot. Yeah, T.S. Eliot. It was published in 1922 because, yeah, 1922 is the most important and crucial year uh, in British literature, in literature as well, because there are so many things that were published in 1922. Okay, it was published in 1922 among other famous literary works like Ulysses, the novel by James Joyce, The Beautiful and Damned by F. Scott Fitzgerald. So this, I just gave a little amount of details, but you have to study a lot. You have to do your own research. That's why I gave little things. Okay. Yeah, there are 5 sections in the wasteland, right? Yes. The burial of the death, a game of chess, the fire sermon, death by water, and what the thunder said. These are the 5 sections that we have in T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland. And wasteland is pretty important that you have to look after it and make sure that you have covered everything in it. Okay, let's move to the next one. And one important thing is that the wasteland ends with the statement like, what is that? What is that statement? How it ends? It ends like Shanti, 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 right? Yes, pretty much references. Okay. Now we are in American literature. We are looking into American literature. Okay. Which work of Nathaniel Hawthorne has individual versus society as its primary theme? Yeah. Some of you are struggling through. Okay. The Scarlet Letter. Yeah. The Scarlet Letter is a novel by Nathaniel Hawthorne, which is published in 1850. Right. Uh, it has a theme, the individual versus society. The novel follows Hester Prynne's, a young woman who committed adultery, and it causes her to wear the letter A, which was being the symbol of shame. She used to wear the letter A for the whole novel, right? That box is filling. Yeah, the main Damyata, right? Very good. Okay. Okay. What are the other things that were in the options? The Young Goodman Brown is a short story written by Nathaniel Hawthorne, published in 1835. And The House of Seven Gables is a novel by Nathaniel Hawthorne, published in 1851. And Blithedale Romance is a novel by Nathaniel Hawthorne, published in 1852. And the interesting fact that Nathaniel Hawthorne used a pseudonym, that is Warland. Owen Warland. So make note of it. Some of you might not aware of it. Owen Warland. The pseudonym of Nathaniel Hawthorne is. Okay. See, this PPT is something which has the prominent writers, MCQs about the prominent writers. So if you find these writers here, you have to work on him a lot. Work on him or her a lot. Okay. Dash is a title of the collection which was written by Emily Dickinson, published anonymously and posthumously. A Mask of Poets is a collection of poems edited by George Parsons Lathrop, who has a which has a poem by Emily Dickinson. Actually, A Mask of Poets is not only having the poems of Emily Dickinson, it also has several writers' poems, but it has only one poem of Emily Dickinson. So that's why it is prominent. And it was edited by George Parsons Lathrop, and it was published in 1878. Make note of it. And the other options, The Leaves of Grass. Yes, The Leaves of Grass, one of the famous poetry collection written by Walt Whitman. Yes, Leaves of Grass was published in 1855, and it has around 400 poems. And the first edition just has 12 poems, but it stretched up to 400 poems. Yeah, Walt Whitman is really became tremendous after publishing these Leaves of Grass. Okay, the north of Boston. I know you are aware of it. North of Boston was written by Robert Frost. Yes, the famous collection. And Ariel, 1965, published in 1965, is a collection of poems written by Sylvia Plath. But it was also published posthumously. Yes, some great writers don't publish their poems. They need others to publish their poems. Okay, now we got into the theory, which I don't think theory is some people. I'm not saying that you are thinking that theory is like this, like that, but people usually have this myth that theory is some sort of toughy thing, I believe. Okay. Which theoretical concept is associated with the theorist Roland Barthes? What is the answer? Yes. The answer is the death of the author is a critical theory concept introduced by French literary theorist Roland Barthes in his essay of the same name, same title. Yes, the title of the essay is The Death of the Author, and it was written by Roland Barthes in 1967. Yes. And really, and I ask you to look after these topics on your own because you have to do a lot of research in literary theory. Yes, and I believe self-study is more uh, fruitful than the people you need to teach, that kind of thing. And I'm not teaching here, I'm just showing you the path and how to do that. I'm revising the things that I know, that you know. Okay. Yeah, the death of the author is a critical term that was coined by Roland Barthes. Okay. It challenges traditional ideas about authorship, interpretation, the relationship between an author and their work. Yes, that is what the death of the author. Uh, Roland Barthes really want to uh, have a connection. Yeah, yeah. If a writer writes a work, he must be dead, not real dead. Just he should be out of his own characteristics, right? We can find T.S. Eliot talking pretty similar things. Okay. And dialogism. Dialogism is a concept in literary theory introduced by Russian philosopher and literary theorist Mikhail Bakhtin. Yeah. Dialogism is something that is everything that you do have some counterpart in this world. So that is how dialogism is. Dialogue is usually happening between two peoples, right? It usually have its counterparts. That is how Mikhail Bakhtin believed that the world has everything. The world has uh, counterpart for everything that we have in this world. Okay. The defamiliarization is a literary concept introduced by Russian formalist Viktor Shklovsky. It refers to the technique of making familiar things seem strange or unfamiliar to help readers see them in a new way. See him, the Victor. He coined the term defamiliarization, and uh, he made it famous that he wants to uh, make things unfamiliar to people to see it in a different way. It is pretty odd, but it is nice. And finally, we have a heteroglossia. The term was also coined by Mikhail Bakhtin, and term literally means different tongues or many voices. Heteroglossia is nothing but finding different voices and things in a single text, in a particular text. Yeah, he believes that a text have different and various voices in it. So that is how he got to coin this term called heteroglossia. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Yeah, we got into the Indian literature. This is also a prominent topic to deal with when it comes to UGC and NET. Yes. Which book by Arundhati Roy addresses the environmental, social, and political issues in modern India? The options are The Ministry of Utmost Happiness. Yes, sorry, the spelling mistake. Okay. The God of Small Things, Field Notes on Democracy, Capitalism, A Ghost Story. What is the answer? Which work of Arundhati Roy deals with environmental, social, and political issues? Is it God of Small Things? It is a famous work of Arundhati Roy. I'm not neglecting that. Okay. Answer is Field Notes on Democracy. See, people usually answer the question which they have the previous knowledge. Actually, you should do a research a lot because if a familiar work in the options, people literally jump into it and answer. It might be the answer, so I go with it like that. Okay. Why field notes on democracy has environmental, political, and social things in it? Yeah. Field Notes on Democracy was published in 2009. Is a collection of essays by Arundhati Roy, an Indian author and activist, where she reflects on the state of democracy in India and around the world. Okay. And the works that are left around, well, The Ministry of Utmost Happiness is a novel by Arundhati Roy, published in 2017, which is pretty close. Make note of it. Then she is pretty much important. Okay. The God of Small Things is a debut novel by Arundhati Roy, published in 1997. The book won the Booker Prize in 1997 and quickly became a critical and commercial success. Yes, as you answered, The God of Small Things is not a simple thing because it has received Booker Prize in 1997. So you have to make a deal with the God of Small Things and make it familiar to you. Okay. Capitalism, a ghost story, is a 2014 non-fiction book by Arvind Roy, where she critiques the impact of capitalism, note it down, on India, particularly its effects on the country's social, political, and economic landscape. Right. And when it comes to literature, who are the great Indian trios? Who are the great Indian trio? Can anybody answer? No, real quick. Yeah, Raja Rao. Very good. R.K. Narayan. And yes, Mulk Raj. Very good. Yes. They are being called as the great Indian trio because they contributed a lot to the Indian literature, Indian English literature as well. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Hmm. My favorite topic. Yes, that is literary criticism. We have a question from literary criticism here. Who conferred the title Ars Poetica to Horace's Epistle to the Pesaus? Answer? Yeah, Horace wrote the epistle to the Pesaus, but somebody has gave this title Ars Poetica to it, but it's not Horace. Who's that? Yeah, exactly. That is Quintilian. Yes, Quintilian, a Roman Horatian. Yes. Epistles to the Pesaus was a classical critical work written by Horace, and the title Ars Poetica was given by Quintilian. Yeah. Quintilian is actually a Roman writer who was a famous rhetorician and Horatian. He has written a work called, yeah, we have it here, Institutio Oratoria. Yes, we can talk about it later. Before that, Ars Poetica. The title means the art of poetry, which singularly deals with the art of poetry and drama. It was a pretty important critical work from classical criticism because Horace was a classical Greek writer and he has authored this Ars Poetica. Uh, I believe you are aware of it. Okay. On the Sublime is a great classical critical work by written by Cassius Longinus. He is also a Greek writer. What does it mean? The sublime. What is sublime? Sublimity. Sublime. The elevation or the height, something like that. Nobility. Yes. How to achieve sublimity? That is what he discusses in his work on the sublime. Yeah, high quality supreme. Yeah, that is exactly right. Yes. Yeah. Longinus was discussing about this. Uh, how to achieve that high elevation and height in literature through their diction and figures of speech kinds of things. Okay. And poetics. Yes, the greatest among the greatest. Yes. Poetics is one of the greatest Greek classical critical work written by Aristotle. Yeah. Mm. And I want to know, do you aware of that teacher-student relationship among those Greek classical writers and philosophers? There was four people. This guy is a teacher for that guy, like that. Can you name it out? Yeah, Aristotle. Okay. Yeah, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and there is another one great guy out there. Yes, you're right. The order is right. Socrates is a teacher of Plato, and Plato is a teacher of Aristotle, and Aristotle is a teacher of the great Alexander. Yes, okay. And finally, we have the last option, Institutio Oratoria, is an illustrious book on the art of rhetoric and oration written by Marcus Fabius Quintilianus. Quintilianus, yes, pretty hard to pronounce these names. Yes. He is a Roman rhetorician and he wrote how to make an oratory. Yes. He wants to give a how to give a good speech when it comes to speech. Uh, he wants to make sure that a speaker must have certain qualities. So that is what he has discussed about in his Institutio Oratorio, and it has 12 books. And the last three books are pretty much related to literature. That is why we have his critical work in here. Okay. Who's that eminent writer penned a venerable book called Black Skin, White Masks? Can anybody answer this question? You are waiting for the options, right? Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, exactly. That is Franz Fanon. Franz Fanon is the author of The Black Skin, White Masks. Yes. Mm. Black Skin, White Masks. It was published in 1952 and was authored by Franz Fanon. Actually, the book deals with the psychological effects of colonialism and racism on black people. Yes, the title is pretty appealing. Uh, Black skin, white masks. Racism and colonialism were the deep-rooted thing in that book. And the other options are Sigmund Freud. Yeah, the greatest. Sigmund Freud was an eminent psychiatrist who authored the interpretations of dreams. Yeah, it was published in 1899. This psychiatrist created one of the greatest things in the history of literature. Yeah. Stuart Hall was a Jamaican born in British cultural theorist and sociologist and one of the founding figures of the field of cultural studies. And he is one of the tremendous thing that that has happened in cultural studies. When it comes to cultural studies, you must have a pretty good knowledge about Stuart Hall because uh, he holds a very great place in cultural studies. Make note of it. And Jacques Lacan was a French psychoanalyst and psychiatrist. Yeah, exactly. Father of cultural studies, kind of thing. Yeah. Jacques Lacan was a French psychoanalyst and psychiatrist, often regarded as one of the most influential thinkers of the 20th century. See, the things that you really have to do is mm, you just not to look after the correct option. You have to look after the other options as well because they might be the correct option for some other question. So you have to look after it as well. Okay, move on to the next one. Now we got into African literature. Yeah, prodigious thing when it comes to UGC net. Yes. Which famous African writer was being awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1986? Answers are welcome. Yeah, Soyinka. Oh, Soyinka. Exactly. Oh, Soyinka, a renowned Nigerian playwright, poet, and essayist, won the Nobel Prize in 1986. Yes, pretty back then. Okay. Soyinka is the first African to win Nobel Prize. Note it down. He's the first uh, African to win Nobel Prize. Chinua Achebe, the next and the other options are Chinua Achebe won the Booker Prize in 2007 for his lifetime achievement in literature. And when it comes to Chinua Achebe, what do you got to think? What comes to your mind? I believe it is Things Valaba. Yeah, the thing that you have to look after. Nuhi Wa Thiong'o is a renowned Kenyan writer, uh, academic and activist, best known for his works exploring themes of colonialism, identity, language, and post-colonialism. Yes, these African writers, yeah, exactly. These African writers used to talk about the racist things that they have faced in colonialism, like we do. We used to talk about colonialism a lot, and likewise, African writers have suffered pretty much because of this colonialism and racism things. So they used to talk about these things a lot without uh, any difference. Yeah. And then Opry won the Man Booker Prize for his novel The Famished Row in 1991. Yes, Ben Opry. Make note of him as well. Yeah. Finally, we have come to the end. Here I'm gonna talk about the things that I have done when I was facing UGC NET. Actually, I have uh, attended the young exam only once, and I have pretty good experience with that. So, okay. Things that I have done while attending UGC NET. So the first thing is time management. Yes. Time management is the most crucial thing to look after when it comes to comparative examinations, right? How do we manage time? Well, only we get to know the time management when we practice it before attending the exams. Because you must work on those mock tests and pretty similar things to get to know what this is like. Because if you go into the exam straight into it, you will face lots of troubles because uh, it has around 150 questions and you don't have much time to do that. We just have 3 hours, right? So how we can complete those 150 questions in just 3 hours is a very great task. So you have to be prepared and you have to be well practiced. That is how you can manage time when it comes to exam. Okay, plan everything before you execute. And now the exam is right behind you, right? It is somewhere, some uh, January, right? The exam is on. Okay. Please, the revision is the most prominent thing when it comes to comparative examination. People do study a lot and do things a lot, but they never look after the things that they have done already because they just want to find new things and explore new things, but they don't want to remember the things that they have done before. So revision plays a vital role when it comes to exams. So uh, at the fine edge of exams, you must focus on revision instead of focusing on new things like that. Okay. Don't stress and become weary by focusing on a particular topic. Instead, split your time and do study different topics in a day. It will help you to avoid becoming exhausted. See, if we do study a single topic for the whole day, it will be exhausting, right? It will make you bored and it will make you tired and feel exhausted because I don't know. This is how I have worked out because I study different topics in a single day. I used to study like 6 to 7 topics and or 3 to 5 things, 5 different things to do when it comes to my preparation. So don't do a same thing for several hours. So please do this, and the time is so no okay. I'll make it quick. Don't avoid using mobile phones like people guide you to do. Keep using it, but as an invigorate for your efforts. Yes. Uh, Please make note of it. Focus on the topics which have quite good role in the examination, like British literature, literary theory, literary criticism, and American literature, Indian literature kind of things. So be focused on it, and particularly cultural studies. Yeah. Don't reckon that any of these papers are inferior to other. Yeah. None of these paper is inferior to other. So give equal amount of importance for both of the papers. Okay. Never underestimate your potential at any cost. Yeah, I completed the paper one first when I gave it a try because it is a qualifying paper. So do it at first if you like to. Never be tense while attending the exam because it would cause some unwanted havoc into your confidence. Yes. Don't expect anything and don't be tense in exams because it would cause certain things in your mind and it will cause certain things in your exam. So please don't be tensed or be in a very nervous mode. Okay, this is the quotes I used to write. If you can't be a cheetah, be a snail. Here, moving is what matters. Do at least a little bit of study a day because a little step can take you greater heights. So do anything that is useful. Learning needs nothing more than a curiosity. Yes. And finally, thank you for listening to uh, this man's session. And I believe that I have revised to you some things. And the tips I have given is people used to say it a lot, but things that I have done is I have given here. So please, and all the best for your exams. Keep rocking and do study a lot. And thanks for being an active listener and making this session happen wonderful. And thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Hariharan sir, for the
Thank
wonderful
you.
session. Now I would like to invite Shobana ma'am to continue the session too.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. First, let me introduce myself. I am Shobana, UGC NET English trainer, and I have cleared UGC NET twice in 2022 and 23 with National Fellowship. I know you people are in your hard preparation because we have just 7 days to face the exam. Jan 7th, I think so. Am I right? So now I would like to share some tips and tricks regarding UGC NET. I hope it will be helpful for you to tackle the exam with your positive and optimistic way. First of all, you must be know in UGC NET English syllabus and question paper. In paper 2, you have 100 questions. Okay, you people already know about that, but I just give you the introduction regarding 10 units you are going to face, and each unit You have 10 questions. For each questions, 2 marks. So totally 200 marks. And then you just need a syllabus and how to give importance to this note. That is, the first 4 units must also be tested through the comprehension passages to access critical reading, critical thinking, and writing skills. Certainly, you can face the comprehension question in paper 2. You can get more marks in that because they have asked written 5 questions for comprehension. It will be very easy. So you have to read drama, poetry, fiction, short story, and non-fictional prose with extra care. Okay, then only you can crack these 5 questions in simple way. It will be very easy for you. And then this is another thing. And procrastination, yeah, this is my code. The procrastination will kill your success. Seriously, you have to spend your time. Don't procrastinate anything because you just have 7 days. So it not be that much enough for us. The first question. So today I just want to convey my views regarding UGC NET, and I have prepared some important questions with some important writers to you. That is, the first question is, Britomart represents virtue in the fairy. Britomart represents dash virtue in the fairy queen. My voice is audible to you?
Yes, ma'am. Proceed.
Okay. So Britomart represents dash virtue in the fairy
Ma'am, you
queen.
can keep it in
You
the full
people are
screen, ma'am.
what, sir?
Keep it in the full screen, ma'am.
Okay. Now is it okay, sir?
Yeah, ma'am. Fine.
Okay, thank you. So according to UGC NET exam, fairy queen is most important thing. Can you identify the answer? Here we have to use the elimination methodology. If you are going to approach the objective type of questions, you have to use elimination methodology. That first of all, you just read the question and you have to give importance to the options than the questions. That is important while we are come to the UGC NET exam, because first of all, you just identify which are is not correct for this question. Then you have to move on to the right answer. So temperance, holiness, justice, and chastity. Basically, the Fairy Queen is an allegorical epic poem. Okay, it has the indirect references. It was written by Edmund Spenser. Actually, it consists of 6 books, but Edmund Spenser planned to write 24 books, but he completed only 6. The first 3 were published in 1590, and the next 3 were published in 1596. And the last book, 7th book, will be a fragment. Each book is divided into 12 cantos. So he has planned to write a grand epic, but unfortunately, he just completed 6. It is a masterpiece of Elizabethan era. Spenser wrote the poem in honor of Elizabeth I, who is allegorically represented as Gloriana. That is the title, The Fairy Queen. And then the poem is written in unique verse form called the Spenserian stanza. In UGC NET exam, if you are concentrating a work, means you just know the important as well as the nook and corner of the important quotes regarding that work. It consists of 9 lines, 8 lines of iambic pentameter, followed by a single line of hexameter, that is Alexandrine. So it may be it is the 2012 net question. That is, what is the rhyme scheme of Fairy Queen? AB, BC, BCC. So you have to give importance to these nuances things of the literary work. Any kind of literary work you just take and you have to give importance to those things because it will be very important. And each book represents the character and its virtue. Book 1, Red Cross represents holiness, representing Saint George and Protestant fight against Catholicism. And Book 2, Sargaya, represents temperance. And Book 3, Britomat, represents chastity. And Book 4, Campbell, represents friendship. And Book 5, Ortegal, represents justice. And Book 6, Sir Galitude, represents courtesy. And Book 7 is incomplete. This book will be called Mutability. So these are very important nuances, matters regarding Fairy Queen. Shall I move on to the next question? That which version of Alexander Pope's The Rape of the Lock features the speech of Clarissa? According to British literature, Alexander Pope have the most significant role. So the option A 1712, option B 1714, option C 1716, and option D 1717. So here you have to use the elimination methodology. First of all, you just eliminate the wrong answers, then you can get the right answer. Yeah, 1717. Rape of the Lock is a mock epic poem by Alexander Pope, first published in 1712. Two canto. Rape of the Lock has totally 5 cantos. The first publication in 1712, it published in 2 canto version, and later expanded its more famous 5 canto version in 1714. The final version was published in 1717. In the final version, one of the most notable additions in 1717 version is Clarissa's moralizing speech in Canto 5, which addresses the superficiality and vanity of aristocratic life. It is widely regarded as one of the greatest works of satire in English. It is the poem humorously critiques the trivialities and vanities of high society by treating the petty social incident, the cutting of the lock of hair, as it were a grand epic event. You people already know that is mock epic is quite opposite to epic. So epic has a grand message, grand theme and principles, but mock epic, it's somewhat a comic manner. It has the trivialities and vanities. It doesn't has that much principal characters. Okay. And then here we just know about the mock epic conventions, how Alexander Pope converts as a mock epic here. He has given the invocation of muse. Here Pope opens the poem with formal appeal, mimicking classical epics like Iliad. And epic similes, he has used one of the special category, that is the epic similes, that is trivial acts such as Belinda's grooming or described with exaggerated grandeur, and supernatural machinery. The supernatural machinery is an important thing in mock epics as well as in epics also. The shelf and gnomes here, Alexander Pope used shelves, gnomes, and fairies and other spirits play roles akin the gods in classical epics. And then the heroic battles also here. The card game and the spinning of the lock and parodied as epic conflicts. This is the mock epic conventions here. Shall I move on to the next question? Yeah. Virginia Woolf is a modernist and fervent feminist who has one of the pioneers of using dash as a narrative device in her novels. Just a minute. Yeah, you're right. Stream of consciousness. Yeah, here Virginia Woolf is popular for her narrative technique, a stream of consciousness. Stream of consciousness is a literary technique that attempts to capture of the character's thoughts, feelings, and sensory experiences as they occur often in the non-linear and fragmented way. So here we must know that the stream of consciousness is a literary technique which was used by most of the popular writers in British, especially James Joyce, Virginia Woolf, William Faulkner, Marshall Proust, and Dorothy Richardson. These are the people used stream of consciousness technique in their novels and their literary works. The term stream of consciousness was first coined by psychologist William James in his work, The Principles of Psychology, 1890. And then the next question. Yeah, we must be know the other options too. That is, a cliffhanger is a narrative device to create a suspense and keep the audience eagerly anticipating what happens next. It typically involves a story editing at the moment. Sorry, wait a minute. Keep the audience eagerly anticipating what happens next. Next, it typically involves a story editing at a crucial moment of tension, leaving the outcome unresolved. This technique is most commonly found in serialized fiction, such as novels, television shows, or film series. And then the cliffhanger is popular for Charles Dickens, Arthur Conan Doyle, and J.R.R. Tolkien. These people are used cliffhanger narrative technique in their works. And epistolary. You people already know regarding this. Epistolary is nothing but a story is told through letters, diary entries, emails, or other forms of correspondence. Example, Pamela. Pamela is a great example of epistolary novels written by Samuel Richardson. And then diasporic consciousness. So diasporic consciousness refers to the awareness, identity, and experience of individuals or communities who live outside their ancestral homeland, often in exile or as migrants. Example, Jhumpa Lahiri, Salman Rushdie, Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni. These writers are very popular for diasporic consciousness in Indian writing in English. And the next question is, what inspired the storyline of Toni Morrison's novel, Beloved? Yeah, the first option is African folklore. Option B, the American civil rights movement. And option C, her childhood experiences. And option D, the life of Margaret Gardner. Yeah, the answer is the life of Margaret Gardner. Toni Morrison's Beloved, 1987, is a powerful and haunting novel that delves into the legacy of slavery, motherhood, memory, and identity. And she won the Pulitzer Prize for this novel in 1988, and it remains one of the most celebrated works in American literature. Inspired by the true story of Margaret Gardner and enslaved women who escaped but killed her child to prevent her return to slavery, Beloved combines historical realism with the elements of the supernatural. Here, while we are read Beloved, it is a real story. It is the story is inspired by Margaret Gardner, and she got a Nobel Prize in Literature in 1993. And she is the first African American woman to receive this honor. And the next question, yeah, which American poet, honored frequently during his lifetime, won 4 Pulitzer Prizes for poetry? Yeah, the option A is Walt Whitman, option B, Robert Frost, and option C, Emily Dickinson, and option D, Alice Walker. The answer will be Robert Frost, yeah, right? So Robert Frost is one of the America's most celebrated poets, known for his depictions of rural life, his use of colloquial speech, and his exploration of complex philosophical themes through seemingly simple imagery. So in British literature, who are the popular romantic writers? So likewise, it's very simple. Yeah, popular romantic writers is Shelley, Byron, Keats, William Wordsworth, Coleridge. So like that, Robert Frost is popular romantic writer in American literature. And then in 1924, New Hampshire, a poem with notes and grace notes. For this, he got first Pulitzer Prize. The second one, 1931, for his collected poems. And the third time, 1937, a further range. And the fourth time, 1943, a witness tree. For these works, he got Pulitzer Prize. And then he returned to the United States and became the celebrated poet, winning 4 Pulitzer Prizes and serving as a poet laureate of Vermont. And he also invited, it is an important question, it was asked in UGC NET. He was also invited to recite his poem, The Gift, outright at President of John F. Kennedy's inauguration in 1961. And he is one of the very popular poem, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, which was published in 1923. Here he has mentioned a quiet meditation on beauty, solitude, and duty with an undercurrent of existential reflection. And this poem has some sort of relation with the Indian great Prime Minister. Do you know that? The famous lines. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have promised to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Yeah, these lines was engraved in Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru's table. Yeah, it is. That's why it is very important. And miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. And then the next question: who is the father and founder of psychoanalytical criticism? Yeah, here we have to use the elimination methodology. Yeah, Jacques Derrida is famous for deconstruction, and Roland Barthes, you people already know, he is popular for Death of Author, and Carl Jung, he is also one of the popular psychoanalytical critic. The answer will be, yeah, Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud was an Austrian neurologist and the founder of psychoanalysis, a groundbreaking theoretical framework and therapeutic approach for understanding the human mind and behavior. Yeah, he is popular for the term the unconscious mind. Here, Freud argued that much of human behavior is driven by unconscious thoughts, desires, and memories. Here, Freud divided the human mind into 3: consciousness, pre-consciousness, and unconsciousness. The consciousness is nothing but thoughts we were aware of, and pre-consciousness, thoughts just below the surface, accessible with effort, and unconsciousness, deeply buried drives and desires. Yeah, we all have these kind of mindsets. And then Freud has divided the psyche into 3 components: id, ego, and superego. So id is pleasure principle, and ego is reality principle, and superego is moral consciousnness. These all 3 components we all have. If you are going to a shop, you just want to buy a ice cream. So that is pleasure principle. We just want to eat ice cream. That's it. And ego, what the ego means, like, no, you don't eat ice cream. If you are eat ice cream, you may get cold. So it suggests something. But the super ego is it's always driving us to the moral way of life. It says, no, don't buy ice cream. It gives certain suggestions. So in literature, Hamlet hesitation in Shakespeare's Hamlet has been interpreted through the lens of Oedipus complex. Freud used the Oedipus complex. The Oedipus complex is nothing but the son and mother relationship. And the most important work written by Sigmund Freud, that is the interpretation of dreams, introduces the idea that dreams reveal the unconscious desires and conflicts. Yeah, and then the second work is 3 essays on the theory of sexuality, which lays out Freud's psychosexual stages and theories of human development. If you are go through a writer, you just know which are the works are important by him. So you give certain importance to his major as well as the minor works also. And then the next question, yeah, it is Indian writing in English. Who wrote The Inheritance of Laws, which won the Booker Prize in 2006? Yeah, here you have to use the elimination methodology, and will be the answer? Yeah, the answer will be Kiran Desai. The Inheritance of Laws is a novel by Kiran Desai, which was published in 2006, which won the Booker Prize in the same year. Kiran Desai is the daughter of Nta Desai. The novel explores the themes of identity, loss, displacement, and effects of colonialism. Yeah, this novel is commented diasporic consciousness. Here, you have to give more importance to Sahitya Academy Awards, Pulitzer Prize Awards, Man Booker Prize Awards, and Booker Prize Awards, and the finally Nobel Prize Awards. You have to give more importance to these things, because and certainly in net exam they will ask these kind of questions in frequent manner. Okay, so you just give importance to that. And then while you people are reading, it is a one tip, that is you just make the cluster. So cluster will help us to remember. Okay, so for example, the Kiran Desai got 2006 Man Booker Prize, and the same thing in Indian writing in English, the another writers, the Salman Rushdie, got a Man Booker Prize in 1981 for his novel Midnight's Children, and then Arundhati Roy got 1997. She got the Man Booker Prize in 1997 for The God of Small Things. And Aravind Attiga, he also got the same prize for his The White Tiger. And then V.S. Naipaul in A Free State, he got in 1971. Another writer, recently she got Geetanjali Street, The Tomb of Sand, for International Booker Prize. So these are the Indian writers who got Man Booker Prize. And then the next question, yeah, it is a criticism question. An apology for poetry is an immense literary work which was written by great critic Sir Philip Sidney in response to dash. MacFlecknoe, option A, MacFlecknoe, option B, the Watchman, option C, the School of Abuse, and option D, the Epistles to Dr. Arbuthnot. Here you have to use that methodology. That is the option. The right answer will be the School of Abuse. The Apology for Poetry is a tremendous as well as the very significant work in literary criticism. It is also known as the defense of poesy. So if you are reading, read about your work, you should know the subtitle of the work, when it was published, and who was written that work. So you just know these kind of nuances. So it is a seminal essay written by Sir Philip Sidney around 1580 and published posthumously in 1595. So you just know these things because it was written in 1580 but posthumously published in 1595. So these small things you must be know, because they have asked this kind of questions. And then during the late 16th century poetry and arts faced criticism from people like Stephen Gosson, who argued in works such as The School of Abuse that poetry was corrupting and led to the moral degradation. He vehemently attacks poetry is a mother of lies. According to the Puritans, they always scold poetry. And do you remember that Plato said regarding poets? Yeah, all the poets should be banished from the ideal world. That is the aspect of Plato. So likewise here, the Puritans are never like poets. They said the poetry is a mother of lies, and poets only give the, what is that? They never write the importance to the society. They always scold the society. They never use the moral values in poetry. So Sidney is very fired like anything. He has right the response, immediate response to his attack, vehement attack. That is, poetry is a mother of lies. Sidney essays was a response to these attacks and sought to elevate poetry as a noble art form and essential to human culture. How you people said poetry is a mother of lies. poetry is very important to the world. And in his apology for poetry, he quoted that poets are make the golden world. The world is brazen. It's like an ordinary world, but poets' world only a golden. The poets only produce the golden world towards to the society. So poets not a mother of lies. They are the moral. They have given the moralistic values towards the society. So poetry is always teach and delight, and it identifying the moralistic value. So that is the quick attack, and as well as his most important primary purpose to reach to write the apology for poetry. And then Max Legno, it is a satirical poem, one of the foremost poets and playwrights of 17th century, Dryden, written by Dryden, 17th century England, published in 1682. This mock heroic work is a scathing critic of Dryden's literary rival, Thomas Shadwell. So Thomas Shadwell is a Dryden's literary rival. That's why he has written this mock poem upon Thomas Shadwell, whom Dryden regarded as an untalented and bombastic writer. And then the Vision of Judgment, you people already know because it was very popular. It was written by the same title by two famous poets, that is Robert Southey in 1821 and Lord Byron by 1822. So both are connected with Byron's version, written as a direct parody and critic of Southey's work. And Epistles to Dr. Arbuthnot is one of Alexander Pope's most celebrated work, which was published in 1735 as a part of a series of satirical poems known as moral essays. It is a masterful example of Augustan satire, combining personal reflection with a biting critique of Pope's literary rivals and the corrupt state of 18th century literary culture. And the next question is, Dash is considered of founder of Center for Contemporary Cultural Studies. Yeah, this question belongs to cultural studies. Yeah, the option A, Raymond Williams, option B, Richard Haggard, option C, Stuart Hall, and the last option is E.P. Thompson. So the right answer will be Richard Haggard. So Richard Haggard is a founder of a CCCS. So CCCS in the abbreviation, the Center for Contemporary Cultural Studies at the University of Birmingham in 1964. It was founded in University of Birmingham in 1964, and Richard Haggard became the director of it. And Haggard appointed Stuart Hall as an assistant in 1968, and Hall became the second director of CCCS in 1972. It was very important question in cultural studies. So you might be give more importance to it, and you have to take notes regarding cultural studies. So it will be very important. And Richard Haggard, along with Stuart Hall and Raymond Williams, all the three are founding figures of a school of thought known as British Cultural Studies, or Birmingham School of Cultural Studies. And especially Richard Haggard's most important work is Uses of Literacy. It's the most significant work by Richard Haggard, which is published in 1927 with the subtitle Aspects of Working Class Life. And then Raymond Williams, he is a Welsh cultural theorist, literary critic, novelist, and academic whose work profoundly shaped the cultural studies and Marxist criticism. Raymond Williams comes to cultural studies and as well as Marxist criticism also. He is very important person in cultural studies. And then Stuart Hall. Stuart Hall was a Jamaican-born British cultural theorist, socialist, and he key figure in the development of cultural studies. And E.P. Thompson is a highly influential British historian, writer, and activist, best known for his social history and his role shaping the field of Marxist historiography, and as well as in cultural studies also. And the next question, who is the author of The Famished Road, a novel that blends magical realism and political realities of Nigeria? So here the options are the Whole Soyinka, Ben Okri, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and J.M. Coetzee. The answer will be Ben Okri. Ben Okri is a Nigerian-born British poet and novelist. His most important work is The Famished Road. It is a novel which was published in 1991. It is highly acclaimed work that won the Booker Prize in the same year, in 1991. The same year he got that work got Booker Prize. And is deeply rooted in African oral tradition, mythology, and the political and social realities of post-colonial Nigeria. In net point of view, we have to give more to Canadian literature and African literature also. And nowadays they have asked the questions related to French literature and New Zealand literature and Australian literature. In Australian literature, Judith Wright just gave important work. And the next scenario is Simanda Noguchi Adichie is most celebrated contemporary authors known for her profound and evocative storytelling that bridges African global perspective. Her works explore the themes of identity, feminism, immigration, colonialism, and African experience in globalized world. So most of the African writers, they have written their novels about their own experiences because they have undergone the colonialism aspects. That's why maybe. And James Coetzee is a celebrated South African author, widely regarded as one of the most influential voices in contemporary literature. He was awarded the Nobel Prize in 2003 and is also two-time winner of the Booker Prize. So already we have seen four-time winner of the Pulitzer Prizes, Robert Frost, and two-time Booker Prizes, J.M. Coetzee. And then we come to the end. That is, proceed towards your intent goal. It's nice to you. You all are very nigh to your success because we have just 7 days. So don't give up and trust thyself. That is very important. And journey to your goal. Be smart while traveling in your goal. Be positive towards your intent aim. So I too, I have attempted 2 times, twice, but it's like a gambling game for me because that 3 hours will be our most precious time in our life. So there you should be positive and your intent aim and believe you can do it. We can't do means who can do. So that kind of mindset you have always. And don't panic or stress about your preparation. And don't compare yourself with others. Never lend your ears to the negative words. You always be positive and you should be optimistic and be confident about yourself. Plan everything according to your mind, what we are going to do. And for these 7 days, or you just seclude yourself from the deviating activities like mobile phones and social medias like that, and have enough rest and sleep well. That is very important because most of the people never sleep. So you have to get a proper sleep and rest and never give up. Whatever may be the struggle, you just manage your time during the exam. So time management is very important. And then stay calm and optimistic in your exam center because you may go to the exam before 1 hour or 2 hours. So you just sit calm and meditate yourself and you just recollect your good memories. I can do that. So you have that kind of aspect. And good luck with your exam. And thank you guys. I hope you may enjoy this session well. Hope this session will be useful for you. Is there any question? If you have any question, you just ask. Do you have any question? Yeah, Rekha ma'am. I will give that. Here I will share my email ID, ma'am. You can contact me with that. So you people have received the feedback form. So you have to fill it up within 15 minutes. Yeah, all the best for your exam for all of you. And thank you for your listening. And I hope you can get some sort of tips and tricks with from us. Wait a minute. Now I hope so you can unmute yourself. If you want to share something, you just unmute. Or if you have any question, just unmute yourself.
மேம்
Yeah, ma'am.
மேம் அங்க ஒரு ஃபார்ம் கொடுத்துருக்காங்கல்ல மேம் அந்த ஃபார்ம்
Ma'am?
ஓபன் பண்ணி கூகுள் மேப் அங்க ஒரு ஃபார்ம் கொடுத்துருக்காங்கல்ல மேம்
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Feedback form.
அதுல வந்து கூகுள் மேப்ஸ் ரிவ்யூன்ற லிங்க் ஓபன் ஆக மாட்டேங்குது.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Wait a minute. I will tell to that sir. Wait a minute.
Thank you so much for the intending section, ma'am.
Hello, guys. If you have any questions regarding the session or about the exam, please feel free to ask.
Shall we end the session?
Guys, the exam is at your back, so please revise things better and don't do anything new. Please revise what you have known already. Okay, fine. And all the best for your exams.
Yes, thank you all. Thank you so much. So now I'm going to end the session. Thank you.